Hi, welcome to the first episode of the J Square podcast. My name is Jonathan.
And my name is Jonathan.
We're going to talk about stuff that's happening in our lives, happening around the world, possibly, and also talk about things that we're interested in.
Yeah, it's basically a podcast for those of you who don't know us, just to get a feel for what's going on in the mind of Jonathan and Jonathan this week.
I think for our first episode,
Introductions are in order.
That's true. We'll start off with the introduction. So first, again, my name is Jonathan. Things I like to do as far as hobbies are concerned, I like to run. To expand on that, I normally go out and do other running events around New York City and also try to look into other events happening outside of New York. Love to play video games, mainly into RPG gaming. And yeah, I just really just like to do stuff, just, hang out, have fun, hang out with my friends like Jonathan here. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, Jonathan.
Yeah, my hobbies are a little bit different and a little bit the same. So I like to be outdoors too, but I like to metal detect. Always going to the parks and beaches, seeing what I could find here in the city. I also am an avid reader. So Stephen King is my favorite author, but I also read a lot of nonfiction books, science books, books that concern interesting hobbies, like for example people who collect diamonds or butterflies. I'm into a lot of that strange stuff, although I don't collect diamonds or butterflies myself, not yet. I haven't found a lot of diamonds. I'd have to find it detecting. I also am a video gamer. I play a lot of RPG games, but I think my video game interests lie more with the retro gaming, so Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, the older consoles, the PlayStation consoles as well.
I guess it's safe to say we both like pretty much the same things.
Yes.
In terms of gaming and just overall just hanging out, just exploring and just looking at, seeing things that we like and stuff. So I think with that being said, we did go do something fun today.
Yes, we did.
We went to the Gem Show, so that was up in Westchester.
Yep,
right?
It's in White Plains, New York, which is in Westchester County, the Westchester County Center. It's basically a show where a lot of different vendors could come sell off their stuff. A lot of this jewelry was costume. A lot of the vendors had gemstones, like garnets, amethyst, topaz, quartz. A lot of places there was this one vendor that had some really cool ancient coins. So
yes.
That's kind of the feel of the show. It's like a lot of jewelry.
And they have maps too, because I remember he was showing this couple old maps from Massachusetts, and I think he had some where you can frame and stuff like that. So I know your wife was into the what was it called, the gem?
Alexandrite. Donna
yes.
had never seen an Alexandrite before. And when we went with the goal that if there was an Alexandrite, we'd point it out, we'd show it, we'd ask about it. And we actually found quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, well, we saw a few. We saw the price. That was pretty expensive. But, I mean, given, how, rare and, just the size of that gem itself, though, it kind of goes with that. I think the lowest we probably saw was for $1,000, and maybe if we're talking about size, maybe 2-3 centimeters, maybe less than that.
Yeah,
centimeter.
They're pretty small. They were cut stones, but they were real, not lab grown Alexandrite. So the cool thing about the Alexandrite is that they change color depending on how you hold it and where the light source is coming from, and also if it's under regular light or UV light. That's the interesting thing about Alexandrite. And also they're pretty hard, sort of not as hard as a diamond. I don't think there's any rock as hard as a diamond, but they are pretty hard compared to other stones. So
yeah, you know what, overall it was a good turnout. I think there were a lot of people that were very interested in this. I got something for myself, mainly my mom's birthday. I got this really cool sphere looking green. I don't know. I guess I could call it a stone.
It's a stone. Yeah, it's not a gemstone, but it is a stone.
But if you really look at it, it was very vibrant green color though. So kind of
and
almost
translucent as well. It's green and translucent.
It feels very mystical-y. shaped balls. So, and
Yeah.
I bought a stand for it, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, then we just hanged around. I mean, it's been a while since we've been around the Westchester area. A lot has changed.
Oh, yeah.
I would say possibly due to like just the overall change right now with like COVID.
Post-pandemic, yeah, a lot of businesses changed. Just wondering, what was the coolest thing that you saw at the show?
Really, I think I was just more like surprised by the Alexandrite. Like, I've never seen it myself. When you told me, you and Donna told me about it, like I was more like, okay, like let's see, and just hearing like how rare it is, and just like just the price itself, though, I was like, wow. So I would say, like, if anything, that was it. Oh, but then actually, one vendor had the wooden watch.
The wooden watches.
Wooden watches.
Let's go.
Yeah, that was very, that was pretty cool because it had, like, different, like, the watch face had, like, different styles of it, though. One looked very sophisticated and one looked, I think, overly sophisticated, if that makes any sense. But yeah, there was some that had, like, a really simple style kind of, like, watches. So the craftsmanship, I would say, from those wooden watches, I would say that was another thing I would say that was pretty impressive from the show.
I was surprised at how light they were.
Yeah.
Like when you handed me the watch, I was like, whoa, this weighs nothing.
Which is crazy because it's not even a gem.
Yeah,
it was something completely different.
It's a whole, like a man's watch. The faces were pretty big
it's
too.
Like, there's
so.
no gem in the watch. It was just a really nice. I mean, I wish we could have probably taken a photo and just showed it. You know.
Yeah, I think I might do a search later to see how much they cost online.
Yeah, but the work on that watch, I mean, something that was not gem related, but it still looked pretty cool. I thought that was pretty interesting. So
Jonathan here spoke about what he brought. I'm gonna speak really quickly about what I brought.
yes.
I found a silver skull ring that fit my size. I learned my size is size 9 if anybody wants to know. Jonathan also learned his size today.
Yeah.
And for my wife, I got her a blue sapphire silver ring. Usually whenever I metal detect, Donna gets first dibs on everything. And so when we went, I was really looking for something for her to wear. I didn't think I was going to get a lot of stuff for me. And while there was some stuff that I wanted, this silver ring, I was like, yep, I definitely put it to the side when I saw it. And I'm like, I'm going to get this. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that was, I think, pretty cool, that ring. I mean, we were also looking at, because there was other gems that were shaped as skulls. So
yeah, the stones that are cut into skulls, which... I should say this right now. We're sitting down sipping on some Crystal Head vodka, which comes in a bottle shaped like a skull as well. And the legend of the crystal skulls are like very interesting, but I think that's a topic for a different day because that's a pretty intense conversation.
Yes, though the name, the legend of the crystal skull, it feels both like a game itself, like a name you would put to a game or a movie,
like
or
Indiana Jones,
Indiana Jones type of like thing. Like it's pretty. I don't know. The name sounds pretty cool. It's very like you're going on an adventure. Really. So. But I would say, like, overall, like, today was pretty cool. I mean, again, it's been a while since we've been there and done that. So, Jonathan, I think you mentioned that they will hold, like, future events kind of similar to that.
So the Gem Show happens, I'd say, once every 3 months or so. So it happens pretty often. In that same Westchester County Center, there's going to be a Comic-Con. They always have reptile expos. There's lots of different events that happen. There was like a cat event that looks like...
Yeah, a cat extravaganza.
I think that might be like for people who want to adopt cats, or maybe like a cat show where they bring cats of different breeds. I'm not exactly sure, but it intrigued me. I was like, what is this cat stuff?
Yeah. Wasn't it recently you saw the reptile, right?
Yeah, the reptile expo was over there, and I went with Carlos, and that was fun. It was different because back in the day when I used to have my geckos, I would go and get stuff from my geckos. But now, don't have any geckos ever since I moved into this apartment in 2018. 2018 I moved, I believe.
But yeah, I mean, there's always something fun happening. Looks like at that Westchester County. So definitely recommend anyone that's interested to check it out. Go on their website. There's always something interesting. So I will personally recommend. So now we're entering May soon. Certainly there's a lot of stuff going. I mean, I guess for both of us going on in May. I personally signed up right now for 2 runs with both are hosted by the New York Road Runners. They normally hold different running events every month. The next run I'm doing is on May 4th, Saturday. Called it the Mindful 5K. This is, I think, the first time they're doing this run. This is just to bring awareness to mental health. I guess Mental Health Awareness Month, I believe. Picked up my bib shirt a couple of days ago. It's in Queens, Flushing. So generally Flushing's pretty cool anyways to begin with. So yeah, I mean that, and then a Brooklyn run happening later that month too. That's a half marathon. Normally it's a hit or miss with the weather. It could be either really hot or it could be just raining or who knows. So those, working on normally just going after work, running. So
practicing,
trying to build the endurance for that. So yeah, I mean, that's what I got lined up so far. Jonathan, you got anything going on?
Yeah, hopefully, tomorrow, I know it's not quite May, hopefully tomorrow I get some time to go out and metal detect.
Yes.
Because I haven't been out in over a month and I'm, like, itching to go.
Yes.
Yeah. But to be honest, like, I have my sister's about to give birth, so I have her baby shower that I'm very looking forward to.
Nice, congrats on that.
Yeah. Thanks. I still haven't gotten her, like, I went to the gem show looking for something for the baby, and it didn't precipitate the perfect item, so maybe somewhere down the road between here and then I'll find something. I think also in May, my mom is coming down.
Oh, okay.
From Florida. I say down. She's coming up from Florida.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to see her and visit her. Donna, I know, is spending some time with Lexi. They took a day to do this face thing where they like look at the colors of their face and try to say what the perfect colors are that would match their tones and stuff.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, they took their day off work to do that.
Just to do that. That's, I will probably have more questions on that. Like
after.
How that's determined though, but we could probably talk about that.
I am not sure how it's determined at all.
Yeah.
That's a huge question.
Yeah. So that should be interesting.
But my mom's gonna be around. My sister's baby shower and Mother's Day are the same weekend. We also have Cinco de Mayo, which
yes, which I don't know. We're gonna do something.
I don't do anything, but
I don't normally.
We usually do Community Day, which is later in the month. So if you play Pokemon Go, me and Jonathan do Community Day at least once a month. We don't normally do the retro Pokemon Community Day. We usually do like the newer Pokemon Community Day. And also Stephen King is releasing a new book on the 21st called You Like It Darker. And so that's going to be interesting. And then Memorial Day is at the end of the month. So we have all these things happening. It's like the month is full already.
Yeah. I know you have asked me to read Stephen King's a short story, which I'm about halfway through. Have my own theories about it, but Jonathan, you've read it already. And
so the story is called Willa, and it's in a collection of short stories called Just After Sunset. So if you'd like to read this very short story by Stephen King, we're going to be talking about this briefly in the next podcast, in episode 2.
Yeah, and then you could give your own comments too about what you thought about the short story. We'll most likely be talking about it a lot. Right now, I have my own theories again of how this may end. Jonathan, you already know. I told you my theories.
I'm staying tight-lipped. Can't get the information from me.
So yeah.
So gaming-wise,
yes. Well, currently there's one game I am playing, and I have now logged in, according to the PlayStation, 82 hours.
Ooh.
But mainly because I'm focusing a lot on the side quests and the missions, and that's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is part 2 to the first game, which was called Final Fantasy VII Remake. And just briefly, what this is just the original Final Fantasy VII game, but putting a twist into it in terms of following the main storyline of Final Fantasy VII, but then I guess exploring more deeper the characters themselves, but then changing kind of like the whole storyline where the original Final Fantasy VII game had a particular story where how things ended, and this one is like a different perspective of like what this game, I guess the person is changing kind of the story or the timeline, I should say though. So I realize that like with games like that, when it comes to like changing timelines, and I feel like we have entered right now a phase of like the multiverse or like the what ifs of games, and but I think it just more extent not just on games but also with movies and stuff. I don't know, time travel is a very like catchy thing nowadays, but I just find it interesting. Like there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot of shows and a lot of games right now that deals with like time travel or different stories.
It makes it tough too, because like for the people who played and remembered the old games and like they didn't sell their original copy, and then a new copy comes out that's different, but it's also updated and the graphics are better, but it also changes what you remember, like the nostalgia. So that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Like,
I guess depending on how it's done or how well. Like the story has to make sense in order for it to.
Like it can't convolute the old game too much, because then the old game is no longer valid. It's like you played something that's no longer true.
Yeah.
You know, you played a lie.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to play a lie.
So, I mean, currently right now, I'm still playing through it. I think I have about 2 chapters left to play. So, I avoided all, like, spoilers of how this game is going to end, though I have an idea of how this game is going to end. But, yeah, that's what I've been playing so far. Jonathan, what games have you been playing?
So, recently, I have my 3DS hacked. I've been playing a few games on the 3DS. I beat, within the past month or so, Witch and Hero 1, Witch and Hero 2, and Witch and Hero 3. Then I want to start another trilogy, which is Legend of Dark Witch. And I've played the first one, but I still haven't gotten to the second or third ones yet. That's for the 3DS. But aside from the games that I'm playing, I also just finished downloading a ton of games for my hacked PS2. And just today, I finished the main part of adding games to my hacked Sega Saturn. And so I think there's like a few more games I'm going to get little by little and put them on. But for the most part, the Sega Saturn is fully done with adding games to it. So
question for you. So what games right now you're like now itching kind of to play, both like for PlayStation and for the Sega Saturn?
Sega Saturn has a really cool RPG called Magic Knight Rayearth that I've always wanted to play. And then for the PS2, there's so many good games. It's hard to pick. Like, I've never played Star Ocean games. I've never played the Atelier Iris games. So those are on my list. There's also a game, Artoneliqual, that had there were 2 of them, I guess, original and a sequel, on the PS2 that I've really wanted to get into. But those are long. Like, if I play all those games and I finish them, it'll be next year.
It's, I mean, like, you know, I feel like nowadays, like, games that you, like, now you have that ability, like, there was a game probably, like, from years ago that you really wanted to play, and now you have that opportunity to play the game. That's pretty cool.
Especially if the game came out when we were kids and we didn't have money.
Yeah. So this is now the perfect opportunity. This is like, all right, channeling that inner child and just like let's play this game right now.
Yeah. Or even trying out games that you've always wanted, like, to
Very
see.
Curious, right?
You were curious about it. You were afraid to spend your money. You didn't know. Now is the time to find a way to try it out.
Yeah.
And see. Yeah. Is this game, was it worth the hype you put into it?
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. It could either crush your dream, because you probably would, oh man, this is probably like the greatest game, and then you play it's like, we could have missed it.
Although there are new games I want to try out.
Okay.
Trials of Mana, when that comes out this year. Not Trials. Visions. Yes,
Mana.
sorry. Visions of Mana.
Yes, the trailer was pretty good. I think they announced it for June, I think.
Oh,
I could be
so
wrong.
close.
So they haven't announced a date yet. I think I'm going to say this. Maybe the next trailer that they put out has to probably include the release date for it though. So that's pretty cool. There's another game actually that I thought maybe you may be interested. I mean, it's for the Xbox, I think, right now. I think it was called Metaphor. I'm not sure if you ever saw the trailer for that.
No. What's that about?
But it's it has like a very Persona type.
Oh wait,
playing
I
style.
did see this. Yes.
And I could
It
be
is
wrong.
by Atlas.
Yeah, I could be wrong as far as like, I guess like the premise of the whole game, but I think it's that you're the ruler of this particular kingdom. I think he passed away or something, and now everyone has a shot, no matter your title, your class, whatever, has the ability now to be the king or queen of this particular land. And I believe it's a kind of like a battle royale. I could be wrong on that though, but I know that I think it was last week or actually earlier this week though, they had like a demo of it, like a
Yeah, I did see something
playthrough or
like
something
that.
like that.
I think Derek spoke about it on the podcast with Baku.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I thought that when I saw like the style and stuff, I immediately thought of you because I know you love Persona games.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, this is like up your alley though, as far as like, you know, it's interesting because it's only coming out for, I think it's only coming out for Xbox.
Yeah, that is weird.
And like Xbox is not really like, or at least to me, not really known for like owning like RPG type of games.
Yeah.
Xbox to me is more like a Call of Duty type of thing.
Yeah.
And I always associate PlayStation as more of like the RPG type of.
That's how it's usually been, with PlayStation being the RPGs for like anime style RPGs, and then other RPGs coming out for Nintendo. Like, for example, the Mana games, the original ones,
yes.
always came out for the Nintendo. The Breath of Fire games, the original ones on Super Nintendo, were there. And so it's sort of like, and then you had, if you want to consider Zelda RPG, that's on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Persona, I played Persona 1, I played Persona 4, I played Persona 5. I like all the games in the Shin Megami Tensei series that I've played. I've played Jack Bros on the Virtual Boy, which is part of the same series. Devil Summoner, Digital Devil Summoner, these are for the PS2. Nocturne on the PS2. Mac and X, which has the same artists and visual style, but for the Sega Dreamcast, that's like, you could consider it part of the same umbrella of art style and characters. This is exciting for me to see another game coming out from that same studio.
Yeah, Vision of Mana is. I mean, it looks pretty cool from
Vision
trailers.
as well, yeah.
I played Trials of Mana. I liked it, so I didn't finish it yet, but I did like it. So I could see this game being pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you actually got me and
Yes.
Donna, Trials of Mana, the remake.
Yes.
And we finished that, I think it was last year or earlier this year. We played it through, and we were like very diligent almost every weekend. When we had actual like long amounts of time, we'd sit down for a good 6 or 7 hours to play.
Game. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You may probably
And it's
like
actually
it.
one of the few Nintendo Switch games that we played through. I don't think we've played through from start to finish any other Nintendo Switch game. She was playing Animal Crossing for quite some time.
Donna. Right?
Yeah, but Animal Crossing, I don't think that's a game that has like a definitive end. I think that's a game that you play until you forget about it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing, you know, I will always associate Animal Crossing as the pandemic type game because I felt like during the pandemic, it was like the one game I felt like everyone was talking about. It was the only game I feel like stood out at that time period for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I know there were other cool games at that time period, but like Animal Crossing for some reason to me always like stands out as like the game, I feel. I guess mainly because you could travel, right? I mean, I'm not too familiar with I mean, I know of Animal Crossing and I've seen people play it. I've never played it myself, but I mean, it looks fun, I would say. I guess travel to other people's towns, I guess, and stuff, though. So that's pretty cool. I don't think there's been another game on the Switch to look forward to, really, since you brought up the Nintendo Switch. Because I feel like the last game I feel like everyone wanted was just Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But after that, there hasn't... I don't think there's anything that screamed... I mean, I guess
I
the
think
new
you're
Peach
right.
game, but
You're right
like,
for new Nintendo titles, but even that
but the
Peach game
hype, I
doesn't
guess.
have hype. It doesn't have
Yes.
excitement. Um,
Yeah, like the hype, like something a game with similar hype as Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think it's come out for Nintendo. So, I mean, I know there's always been rumors about the Switch 2, but I feel like that rumor has been going on for years. I say, look, the Nintendo Switch is still going strong with a lot of the fans, so I doubt that there will be anything new happening soon. But if it does, it does. If it doesn't, hey, there's I think there's still some pretty cool games. But it is very weird that there hasn't been yet a game that's like super hype as like Tears of the Kingdom.
And this might
for
be
this year.
speculation, but I think Nintendo is trying to put their resources into whatever the next console is
I think
going
so,
to be.
too.
A lot of people online are talking about the Switch 2. Is it going to come out? What's the specs going to be like? How's it going to be to play? All this stuff. I mean, until we have it in our hands, we won't know. And until we see what games come out, we don't know. Because I think, even for consoles that aren't that powerful, or like the Nintendo, I never liked the controller for the original Nintendo, but I really like the games. I like Super Mario Brothers 3. I like, the original Kirby. And so I have my Nintendo and I have those games and I go back to them. Not because the Nintendo has the best graphics, but because the games are fun to play. And so I think for the Switch 2, more than anything, we have to see, are the games on the Switch 2 fun to play?
True. But, now that you said that, I don't know if it's like, well, I guess maybe every system or every game tries to feed off from our, like, nostalgia of, like, the old games. Because I still remember playing Donkey Kong. Like, I love the theme song. I remember playing with my sister. It was like, that was the game, Like, we worked together. It was funny because we would be like, okay, you'll be the big monkey, I'll be the little monkey. We didn't know the names. We were
Donkey
like,
Kong and Diddy Kong.
Yeah, Diddy Kong. We were like, yeah, let's...
it's on the Super Nintendo, yeah.
It was so funny because we even though the game doesn't think of gravity, but we thought of gravity, we're like... There's always like the scene with the carts, and we're like, maybe if you die, we have to like Diddy Kong just be the only one that could like fly over because less weight the cart. I'm like, that's dumb, but you know what? Let's do it anyway.
Out. Yeah, that's so funny.
There's been pretty, I guess, interesting games that have come out at least recently. So definitely looking forward to seeing what else either system comes out. With I would say that I think we could probably I could speak for both of us by saying like we're really big fans of games, and if it has a good story and the mechanics or everything else is pretty good, then we know that we're most likely going to enjoy it. So, and I think that's probably the important part of the game itself. The story has to be good or make sense. I guess same for movies or anything else.
Oh yeah, we're
like
both big on movies too. I like horror movies and thrillers. Jonathan didn't. But Jonathan, what kind of movies do you like?
This
is probably something where we differ a lot.
Yes, yeah, because I'm not a horror movie person. I will watch a horror movie because I made a point to meet a daily quota within the year of watching at least one scary movie. And normally I leave it for October because, Halloween and stuff.
Of course. That's when I watch like 30.
Oh, yeah. I think from now I'll probably watch one. Or maybe if there's like a short film, like I'll watch that. I don't know. I'm not really into like scary. I like more like action. I guess recently I have been into type of like real drama type of thing. Like, I don't think I told you this, but I finished watching. There was a show called The Bear that I was watching, and it's really just a show about this chef and I would say the issues that goes on within the restaurant, but also just real life, personal things that affect you, and I thought that that's a show that was to me never in my wheelhouse as far as like because I'd like to see like like action packed. I'm a sucker for like movies like Fast and Furious type of thing, but that show is completely off like something I would watch, but I really enjoyed it though. So I've been looking for stuff kind of similar to that. So yeah, so that's my type of movie. But I never would say like, yeah, you know what? Let me go watch a horror movie because I want to watch a horror movie.
Yeah, even though our taste, because I don't like action movies that much, but even though our taste in movies are different, I think we both know when a movie's bad. I remember when you were here, we saw Madam Web.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah, and so
you know what it is, because I think we know, like, right at the bat, I think we both knew that the story was completely. Like, I think we both would have probably done it. Maybe thought about it a little differently. Yeah. But even with Madam Web, I think there's a general like consensus with everybody is that when you make a Spider-Man type within the Spider-Man universe film, you need, I feel like, to include Spider-Man in this. I mean, like Venom kind of like is okay.
Did they include Venom?
No, but it was supposed.
They didn't even include Venom.
But I think, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, I think this is supposed to be within the same world as
Venom.
Okay. But I think granted that Man Web, I think, takes place like years before.
And as Morbius, right?
Yeah.
Which is another bad movie.
You know, I didn't even see it.
But yeah, I didn't see it. It's on my list. Because I don't like to, you know, I called it a bad movie. I probably shouldn't have done that because I haven't seen it and I want to see it.
You know what it is?
To evaluate it, like but everybody's opinion,
and like
everybody's opinion is the same, and so by general consensus, it's a bad movie. So yeah.
I mean, because I think we both thought like, and we may probably not be switching into like talking about Marvel itself, like the Ant-Man movie was not that
the Quantumania,
though it was crazy because the first two I felt were
really good,
and this
I think there were a few elements which made this last Ant-Man movie not as good. The first two movies had a heavy element of his friends. The Hispanic guy with the car goes or whatever it is. And then the other guy that now was in that movie Late Night with the Devil, the one that was like Baba Yaga, right? That was like the technician dude. And so they cut out that sort of comedic properties of the movie. They cut out the friends and they added comedy in slightly different ways.
Which
like
felt a little forced.
It felt forced. MODOK especially was like not anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited about the idea, like when I heard rumors about
the idea was
MODOK.
good. The execution was horrible. He looked funny, but also he was trying to make, like, they tried to make jokes about him and the way he looked and everything. That fell flat. There were a few jokes, like when Kang, and this is spoiler territory, but where Kang is talking to Ant-Man and he's like, "Oh, have I killed you before? Oh, you guys all flow together, blah, blah." He's like saying, are you the one with the hammer? Are you the one, you know? And it's like, oh, I get what he's doing, but it's not funny. Yeah. Like, it's just, the joke is not hitting, you know?
I feel, I mean, like, because I think that movie itself and then other projects that has happened so far with Marvel, this phase that we're in, like, the hype is not there.
No, not at all.
I was more. I felt like at the ending of Infinity War, like that was it. Like that's
a good end. Maybe the next Spider-Man movie included that because it's sort of like the wrapping up of the protege.
Yeah. But I feel like recent projects right now, like I feel like there was more misses than hits. I would say like.
Well, the Eternals was definitely a miss as well.
Yeah, because the Eternals, I feel...
And then there was Captain Marvel, which was definitely a flop in the box office.
I felt like that...
And that's actually the first Marvel movie in the MCU that we didn't go to the theater to see it. Yeah, we saw it later.
But it was... You know, when you hear stuff like, oh, they had to do a whole bunch of reshoots and stuff, then you already have this perception of like, oh, great, like this may not be pretty good. Like, where are you
coupled together?
Yeah,
right.
And the story itself, I mean, and not to go into too much spoiler, but I would say like if you were to watch Secret Invasion and you watch this movie, I think the main thing for me was just how the attitude from certain characters completely different, because you already set a tone and then you're going with a different tone. I don't know, like I just
different writers interpreted the character differently.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, like the villain itself. Well, there really wasn't really. I don't know if I could consider the villain a villain. More like just trying to do right by their people and stuff, though. But I don't know. I felt like it could probably be written a little differently.
I have to say the ending scene though with Proton.
Oh yeah,
in a
the X-Men.
different-
But you
yeah,
know what? But
the
even
X-Men.
but then like even so, like now it worries me some.
Yeah, like, what are
how,
they gonna do?
how you're gonna use the X-Men.
Right.
But I don't know if this is just an issue of just more. You're now adding more characters and like you're adding now the element of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like the multiverse could be as big as you want it to be, but.
Yeah.
But you're making it too big where I don't know if there's loss
You might
in
need
writing.
a restart. Like sometimes you need to just hit reset
Yeah.
and restart. If you want to keep some characters, great, but restart it. Everything's from zero.
You know, the thing about like cuz even with the Avengers movies, you brought everyone together. But now with the whatever Avenger movie that's going to come out in the future, because now you have to really, I guess, introduce all your characters, I feel. Because you're now introducing them not only in movies, but in shows. So it's already become a big...
Right.
There's
like,
too many characters.
There's characters in different shows.
For the number of minutes or
But I also
hours of
feel
the
like there's
movie.
some characters that they've introduced that have only been introduced so briefly. For example, Hulk's son.
Yes.
Right? I'll give you another example. That girl from college that had the Iron Man suit in... What movie was that?
Oh, that was in Black Panther. They introduced Ironheart, I think.
Ironheart, yeah. That girl has such a small role, sort of in terms of lines, and you don't really get to know her that well in that movie. I don't feel like I had any connection with her
Yeah,
at all.
I feel like we just like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, and it's sort of like you're introducing these characters so quick. Like before, they more took their time. You know, a character had a lot of screen time, and then when it shows up in the Avengers film, you're like, whoa, look at this character. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
know all about. And then everything from the previous movie, like there's references. And the personalities don't really change. They're the same person that they were before. I think the biggest arc of change was Captain America between his 3 movies. Because in the first, he's all about, oh, let me protect the government and do this and that. In the second, they wake him up and they kind of like...
introduce him to the real world, or at least the world that he's in now.
Right, well, they betray because
yeah.
they get infiltrated with Hydra. Right, that's the second movie. So he gets betrayed by his company. And then the third one... which is the Civil War, he's literally fighting against what the government and Iron Man want. So he becomes he goes from a patriot to someone who's been betrayed to someone who goes anti-establishment.
But you just brought up,
and that's a
pretty
huge
good thing
arc
here. Yeah, you brought up, I guess, I think a really good point here.
And that
I
takes
feel like
time.
when you the trilogies from before, like Captain America, Iron Man. I know we have one movie for the Hulk, but the Hulk, I think, kind of blended in with the other stories, like Thor too. I just feel like everything felt really fleshed out. The story made sense, and when you combine it together, it still made sense.
Yeah. Especially the Iron Man movies and stuff.
The Iron Man movie, yeah, like it. But now, it just feels like I don't fully know the direction. I know that the direction is still the multiverse thing, but I feel like we've gone way too far. Like everything just felt so fleshed out well in the beginning.
Like you could tell the character's motivations due to what was going on. But
Like
now
you
there's
felt
so
for the
much going on.
character.
Right. Now
Yeah.
there's so much going on and things are happening so fast, you're barely allowed to process and feel for the characters.
Right.
It's like,
so I don't know if it was just an overwhelming amount of characters and amount of shows and movies that would just like keep on adding on.
now they're bringing back older ones, right?
Yeah, so
Daredevil was brought back and
yeah, but but like Daredevil itself, I mean, like it came out on Netflix, but it was sort of part of the MCU and then sort of not part of the MCU.
But then he was in the
his
MCU movie for the Spider-Man.
Right, which now they introduce, which, you know, I felt like that made kind of sense, you know, because he's in New York, you know, and he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that in that storyline, like, okay, Peter needs a lawyer. Well, which MCU, like which Marvel character is a lawyer, you know?
Right.
Daredevil. And although he played a small role
Mm-hmm.
in it, I felt like it gave the idea, okay, like that was nice because it's like, okay, there are more characters out there, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So I felt like although his role
Yeah.
was short, it made sense within the whole movie.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, like there's just some movies that are good right now and some that are not so great. I just hope that at the end of the day, everything just kind of like goes full circle and just makes all sense. Like it's,
Yeah,
you know,
I hope that happens too.
because it's just
Well, I think this might be a good place to end it.
yes.
But let's end it with this question,
Yes.
okay? And this goes for everybody listening as well.
Yeah.
If you were to recommend a movie, one movie that the audience had to see, it doesn't matter if it's contemporary or old movie, one movie that you want the audience to see, what would it be?
I will say this because I haven't watched it myself and I really want to watch it. Oppenheimer is a movie that I really wanted to see.
Mhm.
I know it's 3 hours long, but for me, I've been just trying to. I want a perfect snack and I want a perfect like setting.
It has to be the mood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and it's because I really want to enjoy this movie. So that'll be my movie, I would say. What about
Yeah.
your movie?
I recently saw Late Night with the Devil, and it's probably the best horror movie
You've
I've
talked
seen
about this.
all year. And so if you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, figure it out, find a way to see it, because it's really good. For anyone listening, let us know if there's any movie recommendations that we should watch, especially Jonathan, who's looking for one horror movie to watch this year.
Yes,
So
I will. Yes, that'll be the movie. Yeah, it's gonna be one movie, and then that's it until next year.
all right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll probably have another podcast out, the second episode, maybe within a month.
Maybe in a month. I think we're looking probably like every month, just doing one
Mhm.
episode, just to recap everything that's happened so far. What's today? The 27th. So maybe
April
around
27th.
possibly around
End
the
of
same
May.
around date. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're looking at
Memorial
so-
Day.
But yeah, but that's the J Square podcast. My name is Jonathan, and
Thanks for checking us out.
yeah, your name is Jonathan, and then we're
Yeah, we're both Jonathan. I don't know if you guys caught that earlier. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think we mentioned it.
I don't think we mentioned it either, but that's yeah. Okay, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Ciao.